Well, good morning. I'd like to welcome you to my presentation. Why are Christians being persecuted? It's interesting. We were singing the song, "This is the year of Jubilee." It's not just a song anymore, is it?
I thought about that, Chris. We were singing that.
This is it. This is the last Jubilee. And this is it. And I was noticing this morning that there's a guy on the internet now that has used my whole birthday thing where I came out with 311 BC, Christ was born on 911. Well, they followed that forward to 922, or actually 923 of 2017, and everything lines up again. You can see he's got Saturn here, he's got the sun in the 12 stars of the Virgo, and in Leo he's got Mercury, Mars, Venus, and Regulus all in a line. And he says that's going to be the return of Christ. Yes.
But if you go further, at her bottom of her hand is Jupiter, and it goes in a retrograde.
That's true. And also the moon is not quite at her feet.
Right.
And the one we did, the moon was exactly at her feet. So, but anyways, nonetheless, it's very interesting. And what's happening is he used Stellarium, which is the one I use in my book, and I taught people how to look things up in Stellarium. That it's free, try it. So it was kind of interesting to see that going on. So we're also singing songs about, I'm a child of God. We're no longer a slave to fear. And then I'm going to give you a whole message that's packed with fear. I was thinking, okay, why are you doing this lesson, Pastor Chris? Well, mostly because the Holy Spirit wanted me to update you so you understand what's going on, and you shouldn't be embarrassed by it. We're not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So let me just launch into that. You can see all the regulars still going on. Now add to that 9:22:17, and we'll have the return of Christ, according to this guy. It's funny because the calendar up top keeps getting bigger and bigger, and yet nothing's really happened yet. So I'll be really interested to see what the Lord's going to do. Okay, so why are Christians being persecuted? For one thing, it's the fulfillment of the scripture. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God, and for the testimony which they held. They cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And white robes were given unto every one of them. And it was said unto them that they should rest for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. So obviously the prophecy comes out of the book of Revelations. We knew about this for the last 2,000 years. So there really shouldn't be any fear involved. It should be more like, oh yeah, that's going on. That's right, of course that's going on. Yeah, Jesus said that would happen. And instead, we're so shocked when we see Christians being their heads cut off and their churches being destroyed and their children being crucified. We're just like shocked. I'm like, you shouldn't be shocked. If the Bible says it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Thank God it's not as happening as much here in the United States of America as it is other places. But believe me, it won't be over until it's over. They always say it's not over till the fat lady sings. Well, it's not over till the last person gets persecuted. I really think that that's the Lord, how he determines when he comes back. We have all these criteria we throw in there, but honestly, that's the truth. So why is it that Christian and religious persecution is not a political football during these election debates? Well, it's not because the newspapers don't report it. For example, I looked up Joe Biden, and he believes that Christians violate LGBT rights. There's your Democratic vice president candidate. And if I go even farther, let's go to, I want to look up Bernie Sanders. And he goes on and on and on about how Christians are violating people's rights. So, I would, if I was you, I'd cancel some of these people, some of my election possibilities. America must deny their faith in Christianity. And this is a quote. This isn't just, Wally Shoebot going off, No, this is truth. Yes, Tom.
I hear more and more of this every day, but every day I see more and more videos of Islamic throwing gays off the top of 10-story buildings. How is
Right.
that not violating the LGBT?
Because they're not Christians. Their target is Christians. Well, I know one thing. They're not screaming they're gay Christians.
Right.
But if you already got the Muslims hunting you down, why would you want to add to the fact that you're a Christian gay person? It's like, oh yeah, okay, well, we'll kill him, then we'll crucify him. Okay, so Mike Huckabee, he brings out the fact that this is really a common thing. But what I thought was interesting was Jon Stewart. He says, "And you've confused a war on your religion with not always getting everything you want. This government hates religious organizations so much it lets them keep $100 billion a year in offering tax-free." He said, "Persecute my butt that way." Okay, let me tell you something. They're not giving us anything. It's their rule, separation of church and state. Now they want to get rid of that rule. That's fine with me. I would gladly lose the tax collection if we could mandate that the state has to do what we want. So before stupid idiots like Jon Stewart get up and make such stupid, unthoughtful comments, I would say to him, yeah, go for it. Why don't you get that passed, John? I'd love to mandate what you have to believe because you're an idiot.
Amen.
So it's funny how this goes on. Jeb Bush, he not only stands up for Christians, but there's even this one video. It's called the Raging Hypocrisy at the Center of Christian Rights. Let me see if I can get it to come up, because when I played it earlier, it came up, and then the second time I ran it, it didn't come up. So let me just see what happens. It's another time about the raging hypocrisy at the center of the Christian rights persecution complex. Now, let me ask someone, if you're a Christian, do you think this is a raging hypocrisy? How come we're, sacrificing Christians to ISIS and we're not saying a word? I find that's a shocking statement. Anyway, let's see if I can find it here. I guess this one's more about Huckabee. Probably not the one I wanted to garner here. But let me just go back and make sure I'm in the right place. It says Jeb Bush, Christian persecution is personal. Now this is what left-wing liberals do. Yeah, should the article actually come up, you'll find out. For Jeb Bush, Christian persecution is personal. So now let's look at what he said. Hours after Pope Francis warned yet again against the complicit silence in the West about Christian persecution on Monday, Governor Bush told me over the phone that persecution of Christians and other minority populations in Iraq, too, is a matter of personal concern. Now, that's not personal. That should be everyone's personal concern. Do you see the difference? See how they twist the article? And also, he didn't just mention Christians, he also mentioned the pagans. So notice the article wasn't directed at, those Christians and pagans. So this is such an example of what the press does. Now, does that make me angry? No. Do I have fear? No. It's exactly what the Lord told us would happen. And many shall come in my name and say they are the Christ, but do not believe them. So Donald Trump just declared we have to protect our Christians. There are several articles here about Donald Trump standing up for Christianity. In fact, one of the articles says Donald Trump is the only one in the debates fighting for Christianity. That article's not true either. Because when you look up all these other guys that I found here, let's see if I can find some more. Here's one. Okay, this is a story. A lesbian officer maligned, and Ted Cruz's Religious Liberty ad tells her side of the story. Well, her side of the story is just a spin. She says that she never fired the guy. He left on leave and then he didn't come back. And so she didn't fire him or anything. But she does tell her story that when she came there to run the platoon, that she was married to a woman and she wanted to introduce her spouse to everybody in the camp. And said, oh, no, you can't do that. You know, don't ask, don't tell. Well, she feels like she's the one that got persecuted. But when you look at the video, I'll play some of this. Imagine this is the video she chose to prove her point. That's great. Probably not going to come up here. Try again. It's a really interesting video. That's why I'm taking the time to play it. I don't know if it'll come up twice though. That's the problem with these hack jobs of these liberals. They'll show you the video and then you play it once. You go back to, did I really hear what I heard? You go back and play it again and you can't even get to it. So we'll try it again right now.
When you have your own government tell you that you don't have religious freedom, now that is very disheartening.
If I don't have the first freedom, my religious freedom, then what's left?
I just did not anticipate that my career would end under such terms.
No way would I have ever thought I would be in this position. I would definitely understand freedom in a different way.
This is going on in the military. Now, they actually have 5 testimonies here. People in the military and lost their jobs. And even lost, one guy was 2 years to
I
retirement.
believe that
They forced him out.
freedoms and liberties in the United States of America, in my life, have proven that a poor kid from an at-risk family, a single mom with 6 children on welfare and food stamps, living in poverty, with those freedoms can cause their dreams to come true.
I was fighting for the United States of America, for the freedoms that we enjoy. To come home later, 2 years later, and to be told that because I hold a religious belief, that's some sort of discrimination.
The darkest hour, our church showed up and the family rallied around us, prayed for us. And that was a big thing for us.
You really get to see the fullness of God when you stand up for
Sweet Cakes
His
Bakery.
truth, His word.
I suppose God surprised me the most by his faithfulness and his promises. You know, you read those and you sort of say, yeah, right. But when it comes right down to it, his promises and what he says is true.
I've already had my worst day. You know what I mean? And so, what's a retirement?
Our kids have seen that there's a real cost to serving the Lord. Why would I, as a business owner, want to bring this on my company? If anything, I would want to stay as far away from that as possible. The very faith that caused me to get my job ultimately has cost me my job.
I would definitely understand freedom in a different way. Yeah, before it was just sort of off here in another world. But when it happens to you, and it will happen to you, when they come to take that away, it takes on a whole new meaning.
I had to relent to be required in order to not violate my conscience, not violate the tenet of my deeply held religious belief. And I have no recourse. I'm just praying over and over again as I'm working that that God would see this through.
Losing the business was very hard for me. I worked really hard to build it up. I put a lot into it. And for that, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, very hard.
Our definition of freedom in the United States of America is changing right before our eyes. I believe that those very freedoms are at risk in our beloved United States of America today.
Before all this went on, I felt like there was freedom, that we had all kinds of freedom. And going through this now, I definitely am seeing just a whole different world. Feeling like definitely freedom, especially religious freedom, is really, at stake.
Christ stood up for me too. I think so much less of him that I wouldn't stand up for him.
I think you kind of get the idea of what's going on here. And this article is interesting. I'm going to show you the article first. Official misconduct charge referred against marriage clerk. She refused to give a license for same-sex marriage to people to get married. And so she's being threatened they're going to take her job away and all this stuff. And they've threatened to give her 1 to 5 years in prison because she turned down a gay couple because it's against her belief. But what I thought was interesting was the comments. These are the people you're up against. The guy's name is Non-Breeder. There's the title. Her job is to verify info on the application, not marry people. I hope she's punished harshly and loses her pension if she has one. Fix your wagon, but good. All I can say, man, the love flowing out of that woman's unbelievable, isn't it? 4,000 churches close every year. The church has lost half its members in the past 100 years. People are leaving the bigotry and hypocrisy of your churches in droves. All of you self-righteous zealots who are sitting in judgment of others are no better than the Duggards, Swaggards, Bakers, etc., who died and left you to sit in the seat of Almighty judgment. You may have to face him one day, then you can explain why you had the audacity to judge and hate instead of following what you were supposed to do, and that's love. I don't think anybody in church has advocated for us to hate these people. If they do, I want to see it. Show me the sermon where we are advocating we're going to hate these people. Yes.
Exception for the Westboro Baptist Church.
Well, there's always going to be exceptions, but they don't represent us besides they're Baptists. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, I didn't mean that. You all act like you have nothing to work on in your own life. So perfect are you. You know what happened to the last perfect man? They, folks like you, crucified him. Is that a contradiction in terms? I mean, is this person an idiot or what? I mean, I really feel sorry for him. I'd love to give him a class in writing. Religion is a personal thing. Stop trying to force your political agenda and Taliban control of the rest of America. Well, why don't you? You first. It will not serve you well in the end, but you'll find that out the hard way. I don't care what you believe, and it's none of your business what others believe. That's what makes this country great. MYOFE. Do I need to spell it out? If you are against SSM, don't go to the wedding. Don't send a gift. I'm sure you won't be missed. Nor will I miss the wedding. There's so much hate here, I don't even know where to begin. And as Christians, okay, I can see where you would fear hate. But again, a lot of you as Christians, you're not really doing anything to protect yourself. You live in a stand-your-ground state. 5 of those people who were persecuted, their lives were threatened. So what do you do when you're out somewhere and a bunch of people recognize you, and like Sodom and Gomorrah, they all end up at your front door and want to kill you. Well, what do? You stand your ground. I'm sorry to say that, but I just got a deal this week. I got a second Beretta 25 for $175, you know. So now I can fire 18 shots at a time. You know, my thing is, look, you can believe what you want, but if you threaten me, you force me into a stand your ground situation. I don't want to hurt you, but I'm not going to stand there where you hurt me. Come on, I went to Vietnam. I wouldn't fought for you. Where do I get credit for that? Where does the LGBT stand up and say, Chris, I know you don't agree with this, but I want to thank you for going to Vietnam and fighting for all of our freedom. Where is that in the news? I don't see it. So just remember, as Christians, if you're willing to lay down your life for these people who can't even MYOFB, then go for it. You know, you'll go to heaven. I don't have any problem with that. I just think it's a waste of time. Eventually, there are going to be Christians out there who are going to say, wait a minute, enough is enough. You guys can believe what you want to believe. You wanted me to put a dildo on a cupcake, and I said no. And so you said, you'll kill me. You find any problem with those statements? Okay, I didn't want to do what you wanted, but I didn't threaten to kill you because you asked that. You have a right to ask that. My business, I have a right to say no. Well, not anymore. Not anymore. Okay, let's talk about a little bit different angle here.
Step back 1 second. Those numbers are completely wrong. Church attendance is up at record levels right now.
Well, of course, that's their storyline. You know, the other thing is, I will admit that
They sound like facts, but those aren't facts. That's false news.
it's false information. But Nick, you notice how they pack the information in a way that
You can't argue that.
if you do go to church, you better be LGBT oriented.
Right.
You can't say, well, this is an issue I don't understand, but the Bible says this. Jesus said this. I'm going to hang with Jesus because when I put him on the balance and I put you over here on the balance goes like this, and you weigh nothing. It's just that simple. It's just like, it's my religious freedom. You know, God created man, woman, and he was there at the first marriage. He said, be fruitful and multiply. Now, I'm just still waiting for the LGBT person to come up to me and prove that a gay couple can multiply.
Without science.
Without science, right? Or without the guy having sex with a girl outside the relationship, which would be polygamy. So anyway, I thank you, Nick, for that comment. That is so appropriate. So, death and desperation mounted in Europe's migrant crisis Friday as Austrian police said 71 people appeared to have suffocated in the back of an abandoned truck, while an estimated 200 people were feared drowned off Libya when 2 overloaded boats capsized. Now, I've gone through these articles tooth and nail. They cannot tell you why this is going on. They're kind of like the comedian, you know, well, there was this Mexican guy. Well, maybe he wasn't Mexican. Maybe he was just a man. Well, no, maybe he was just for life form. You know, you get to the point where you're so politically correct, nobody knows what you're talking about. And that's exactly what happens in these articles. Because, let me ask you this. 71 people appeared to have suffocated. Now, I don't know what college you went to. I went to San Diego State University. Which, you know, I don't know, I think they think they're better because they're university and a college. But I learned how to write there. And I would not assume that 71 people suffocated if they hadn't suffocated. So this writer is an idiot. I'm sorry, but as a Christian, I do demand a little higher standards in my journalism. I may be a bigot to you, but I'm also a bigot when it comes to grammar and the English language. So Berlin, 23-year-old Layla, her husband and 2 children, spent their first week in Germany in a temporary shelter, an austere but desperately needed haven after a traumatic flight from Syria that began when her husband was told to fight for the government. Well, okay, We had the draft in Vietnam. People ran away to Canada and other countries and stuff, you know. I don't have a problem with that either. But I would say this, that I didn't run away from my country. I went to Vietnam. I actually went as a volunteer. I wasn't drafted. But what gets me about this story is that I went to the story 3 times, nowhere I can tell why are they leaving Syria. It's not until I happened to stumble on the word Barack Hussein Obama do I realize that he caused the problem in Syria, and he drew a line in the sand and backed off. Now, I know Barack Hussein Obama is a tall guy, but if I drew a line in the sand and he crossed it, that would be the last line he would cross. I'm just telling you, I would go down, even if he was big enough to take me on, take me out, good for him. But I'm not going to draw a line in the sand and then not do anything about it. Does that make sense? I mean, there's a certain thing as a man, you have some kind of dignity or pride or something, you know? Like, unless you're gay. I'm sorry, take that back. So anyway, Nikki Haley, South Carolina's Republican governor, came out last Thursday and blasted possible White House plans to bring Guantanamo Bay prisoners to her state. I think that's great. I don't want terrorists being brought into Florida, do you? Does that make sense? How many times have we read in the last 3 months guys who escaped from prison? Do you want terrorists escaping in prison? In your neighborhood? Let me see the show of hands. Everybody, raise your hand that want terrorists escaping in your neighborhood. I don't see any hands. I should send a note to President Barack. Yet at the same time, she was joining a red line against Gitmo terrorists who would stay locked in a bridge off the coast of Charleston. Haley was opening her arms wide open to welcome refugees from jihadi strongholds in the Middle East and Africa. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I believe in political asylums, and I believe you have a right to apply for political asylum. But it's not because you're Sunni and the Shiites are trying to kill you. It's not because you're Shiite and the Sunnis are trying to kill you. You know what my answer to them is? Work it out. You're Muslims. But if you're a Christian or you're a Yazidi people or you're pagan, you're trying to escape these Islamic terrible places to live where they're killing Christians, almost as if it's public entertainment, then yes, you should. So I can't understand why Nikki Haley is all against Guantanamo people when she's bringing in people from Somalia, and Eritrea, Syria, and Iraq, and places where we know that they're terrorists and they're just using that as a vehicle to get in the United States of America, get food stamps, welfare, housing, and set up a cell, a terrorist cell. So I'm like, okay, she's the politically correct. She sounds intelligent, doesn't she? Can anybody here spell the word stupid? Because when I read that article, I think there's one thing these articles all have in common. These people are stupid. You have to qualify people you let come into your country. Well, do you have a job? No. Do you have a career? No. Did you go to college? No. Did you finish high school? No. Okay, get in here. So, here's another one. Iran renews full funding of Islamic Jihad terrorists. Now, you should have saw this coming, right? Iran also maybe had deliberately held back financing of Islamic Jihad because of the intense nuclear negotiations that ended in agreement last month, the defense official said. All that is set to change as Iran has now pledged to renew full sponsorship of Islamic Jihad, the official said. So during the negotiations, Iran backed off backing the Palestinians and other jihadists. Now that they got the agreement over with, now there's full funding. And guess what? They now have an additional $150 billion to fund them. That's our money. Again, stupid. I should have titled the message "Stupid," and it probably would have had a better impact on people because, you know, I'm never afraid of stupidity. I have no fear of stupidity. All I can think is pity. I have real pity for people that say things that are so stupid it's beyond comprehension. You know, I respect the comedian more than I do anybody else I've listened to so far this morning, you know. So report. Obama threatened to shoot down IEF Iran strike. Kuwaiti paper claims unnamed Israeli minister with good ties with the U.S. administration revealed the attack plan to carry. Now let me see here. I've got this article here, and I know it's up somewhere. I just gotta find it. This one? Yeah, here we go. Now look at this. This is Arut Sheva, which is a Hebrew newspaper, and this is the English portion. And you can see here, this is a real newspaper report. How many of you guys knew that Barack Hussein Obama threatened Israel? If you attack Iran, we will shoot your planes down. How many of you guys did that? A couple of you guys, oh, I'm sorry. Most of you guys had your hands up today. I was really blessed by it, actually. Oh, sometimes you gotta be stupid. Stupid can't be appropriate. Okay, Donald Trump was the only one in the debates fighting against Islamic persecution of Christians, saying, "We have no time for tone when Christians are getting their heads chopped off." Trump is the only one fighting for this Christian who will get his head chopped off in 24 hours. Now, that's not true. As I showed you already, Cruz, Huckabee, even Jeb Bush, they're all believe that this is an atrocity. But notice there's no response from the White House. This is a campaign issue, but not according to the Democrats. And Hillary says, as Christians, you need to give up your outdated, prejudiced faith. What Jesus taught you was prejudice. Well, it's funny because I'm going to show you some of the scripture that might contend with that. Okay, the government of Turkey is bombing Christian villages and have already bombed 7 Christian villages. Now remember I said keep your eyes on Turkey. Okay. The German public TV channel, ARD, reported yesterday that Assyrian villages in the Quandiv Mountains were hit by the recent Turkish airstrikes against the PKK, the Kurdish Workers' Party. The villages hit by airstrikes were Shirinish, Baz, Barwari, Bala, Hayes, Duwudia, and Margarisha. Now, the only people fighting ISIS are the Kurds. And Obama won't fund them. He won't give them weapons. He won't help them. In fact, while Turkey's bombing them, he's out having breakfast with the guy who's in charge of Turkey. And all I can say is that if you haven't figured out he's a Shiite Muslim by now, I don't know what's going to do it. But here he is. Turkey's bombing of Kurds could unleash civil war. And there he is, President of Turkey and the President of the United States, over tea while they're bombing Kurds who are saving Christians. And they're Muslims.